Breaking news today, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz is out. Take a listen.
All right, there's a breaking news that happened in the commercial break. So what you're looking at photographs right now of Michael Waltz. He is the president's national security advisor, except for we just got news that he is going to be leaving the administration along with his deputy, Alex Wong. Of course, if you might remember the story of Signalgate. I don't know if that's for a particular reason, but there was some consternation among some people about Mike Waltz, who you might remember was a congressman, Green Beret, a long history and career in foreign policy. And
here's why this really matters. Remember recently when we told you that the slew of media attacks on Pete Hegseth were due to a number of people inside the Pentagon trying to sabotage key members of the Trump admin who were not in favor of going to war with Iran? Let's just take you back a little bit to Signalgate, where Mike Waltz invited a rabid anti-Trump Atlantic journalist, Jeffrey Goldberg, into the Signal chat where they were discussing an attack in Yemen. At the time, everybody was wanting to know how on earth did Goldberg get into the chat? You can't just accidentally add someone to a Signal group chat. And at the time, Waltz's explanation was, well, pathetic. Take a listen.
But I can tell you for 100%, I don't know this guy. I know him by his horrible reputation, and he really is the bottom scum of journalists. And I know him in the sense that he hates the president, but I don't text him. He wasn't on my phone, and we're going to figure out how this happened.
So you don't know what staffer is responsible for this right now?
Well, look, a staffer wasn't responsible, and look, I take full responsibility. I built the group. My job is to make sure everything's coordinated.
But how did the number? I mean, I don't mean to be pedantic here, but how did the number?
Have you ever had somebody's contact that shows their name, and then you have somebody else's number there?
I never make those mistakes.
Right? You got somebody else's number on someone else's contact. So of course I didn't see this loser in the group. It looked like someone else. Now whether he did it deliberately or it happened in some other technical mean is something we're trying to figure out.
Yeah, sure. I add wrong numbers under people's contacts all the time. Something nobody else has ever said ever in history, ever. So the real question that arises from his response there is, who was the other person that he mixed up Jeffrey Goldberg's number with? If they were important enough to add into this Signal chat discussing extremely sensitive details about US strikes on Yemen, then one would assume that Mike Waltz had been in touch with them on a regular basis. What else had he been accidentally sending to this other person in the meantime, who we now know would have been Jeffrey Goldberg? We never really got answers to any of those questions, but we did get a slew of attacks on Pete Hegseth, but not really any on Mike Waltz, who was chiefly responsible for Signalgate. Come a recent revelation, 3 top Trump admin officials were named as trying to stop war with Iran: Tulsi Gabbard, J.D. Vance, and Pete Hegseth. Then, 6 days ago, per the New York Post, Trump said he won't be dragged into a war with Iran by Israel. He said if they can't make a deal with Iran, he'll be leading the pack, but he won't be dragged in. Interesting. So what seems clear here is that a conflict with Iran could be inevitable. The logistics of how it will begin and who will be involved in its entirety is currently unclear. Per the Jerusalem Post just 2 days ago, Israel's Defense Minister Israel Katz appears to be defying Trump, threatening to attack Iran while Trump is trying to both de-escalate and negotiate a nuclear deal. According to the Jerusalem Post, sources have told them that Israel had potentially missed its chance to strike Iran's nuclear facilities, and so even though Trump is trying to avoid this, it seems that other forces are at play here. Now we're hearing Steve Witkoff, Trump's negotiator with Iran and Russia, may be replacing Waltz. You may have noticed a recent interview with Witkoff and Tucker Carlson where he was very harshly criticized for saying that part of his negotiation skills involve understanding all parties. Imagine that, people who want to de-escalate situations by talking to everyone. The horror. So Witkoff may be replacing Waltz, and what's even more interesting is that as of today, we have a new hit piece in the New York Post on Witkoff. They say insiders, again, anonymous sources, say he shouldn't be leading Iran or Russia negotiations. In fact, they quote an unnamed member of Trump's first administration saying about Witkoff, quote, "nice guy, but a bumbling effing idiot." And other sources are saying that his plate is simply too full. This also follows DoD employee Dan Caldwell, another person who didn't want war with Iran, recently being ousted, and he says it is for this reason that he was fired. So we said recently, there is some sort of mutiny and shady business going on here. a fracture between people who want peace and those who want death and destruction. And that is what war with Iran would mean, by the way. Let's take all of the emotion and propaganda served up by the mainstream media to try to obtain our consent for yet another war and look at this logically. What many would classify as undeniable is that a strike on Iran, with world geopolitical tensions being as they are today, could trigger World War III. If we're talking about a strike on nuclear facilities, it could lead to a nuclear explosion. That could trigger potential nuclear war and, once again, potentially World War III. There could be no worse outcome for the world right now. Going back to Signalgate, at the time, Trump said he would not be firing bullets. It appears that has changed. And the question is, what did the admin uncover behind the scenes about him and his motives, and how does this compare to Trump's objective in the Middle East? Walter's actions in Signalgate could only be described as either incompetence or sinister, a trait that the Trump admin just cannot afford, especially right now. Time will tell where this will all lead, but we sincerely hope the direction is no more wars, as promised during the campaign trail. Are you using your phone, or is it using you? The truth is, big tech devices were designed to spy on you. You can change settings and use a VPN, but unfortunately, it still won't stop the leak. Thankfully, our sponsor at abovephone.com/pulse has a solution. Thousands of people around the world like me have switched to Above Phone. There are no ads and zero connections to big tech. You can download your favorite apps privately or unlock a world of new private apps with features you didn't even know exist. Secure hardware protects you, and enhanced software gives you total control over your microphone, camera, sensors, data, and apps. Visit abovephone.com/pulse to access exclusive deals for our viewers on Above privacy phones, tablets, and laptops. And right now, you can get an extra $300 off an Above Phone 9 through May 2nd at midnight Central Daylight Time by going to abovephone.com/pulse. The Above Phone 9 strikes an impressive balance between cutting-edge performance, camera quality, durable build, and long-term security update support. With these cutting-edge features, it's no surprise that the Pixel 9 has become Above's best seller. Get yours at abovephone.com/pulse while supplies last. Above offers an incredible 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk, and every device comes with a free 45-minute support call with a real live support engineer to help you make the shift from big tech to freedom tech. Above's team is ready and waiting to help at 1-888-36-ABOVE, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central, or visit abovephone.com/pulse to schedule a call. It's time to take back our technology and break free from the growing control grid. Visit abovephone.com/pulse now to save $300 on an Above Phone 9 this week only.